Hey guys, in this video, we're going to draw just some made up form in space, and it's going to be a complex form. We're going to use 1-point perspective, and then we're going to add value by stippling and cross hatching. So the materials I'm using for this, I've got a 2H pencil, and this is a hard lead. So what it's going to do is my lines are going to be lighter, and that point is going to stay sharper for longer. If you have to, if you needed to, you could use a regular 2B, but a 2H or harder is going to work better. I've actually got a 4H in here. I thought I did, but now I've just made a mess. Anyways, I've also got an art gum eraser. If you have a kneaded eraser, or if you have a... Ugh, I spilled my pencil shavings. Darn it. If you have a polymer eraser or a kneaded eraser, that'll work too. I just happen to have an art gum eraser in my handy dandy pencil cup. And then I've got my little hand sharpener, and then my black ink that I'm going to use to stipple it. And if you're using the microns, a .01 would be good, a .02. I've got, this is one of the ones that I got at Dollar Tree, the Color Flow. It's a .5, it's a 0.5. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than that, but it's still going to be a fine point line. So step one, I want to put a level horizon line, and I'm going to put it up higher on my paper. I'm not going to go right towards the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top, and let's say, I don't know, let's go 2.5 inches. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. 2.5 inches. And I'm going to lightly draw this horizon line. And what this horizon line is going to do is I can use a triangle. Oh, that's the other thing that I'm going to use. It can be a 30. It can be a 45. I happen to have a 30. But really, I'm using this 90-degree part of the triangle. So there's my horizon line. I'm going to put a vanishing point, and I'm going to put the vanishing point off to the side, because I'm going to draw my form mostly in this general area here. So I'm going to start with a center line. Yeah, I'm going to pick one edge of the box to start with. So like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a cube. So there's one edge. There's the other edge. And I can, since this is perfectly perpendicular to my horizon line, I can line up the triangle there. And if this is a 90-degree angle here, that'll go straight across like that. So I've started with a square, and now I'm going to take this point, and this point back. And I'm not going to go all the way back to the vanishing point because I want to see, I'm going to have a back edge somewhere over there. I'm not quite sure yet, though, where exactly. So I'm going further than I think I need. So here's, whoops, here's what I did. I'll show you what I did. So I'm lining this line up with this. And now if I take my ruler and I press it against the triangle, I can slide this triangle, and basically it's like copy paste. I'm going to copy and paste that line right there. And then I can do the same thing with this line here. And it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing because I got that camera hanging over top of me. So there I have a cube in perspective. And as I work, if I want to, I can erase the lines that I know I'm not going to use. All right, so we have a simple geometric form. Now, let's add to it. Let's make it more complex. Another thing, they sell these things with like eraser bits in it. I have one somewhere around here, but I'm just going to use my, this is a nice thing about the gum erasers. I can see all these erasures, these little bits that I'm making. Now when I slide my tools around my paper, it's sliding on those eraser bits and it's not going to streak or smear. So that's a technique that you can use if you want to. Don't do it with a pink eraser. A pink eraser might tear up your paper. So I hope you can see that. But now I'm going to start playing with the shape, playing with the form. I don't know, let's extend this and make like maybe another small box on the top right here. So I'm going to put a vertical line. I'm going to extend this edge. So it's going to be flush with that edge. Right? So it's going to go all the way up. And then it's also so again, I'm going to copy and paste that line, put my ruler down, and then just slide my triangle. Let's make it about that big, so not quite at the halfway point. So not not quite. That's like halfway between here and here, this corner and this corner. So kind of narrow. Almost like if this was a building, that would be like, you know, in movies like Die Hard where the good guys chase the bad guy all the way to the roof and then a helicopter picks him up and takes him off. Like this is going to be that little stairwell that goes all the way to the rooftop of the building, where it's just a door and then stairs on the inside. So that's kind of what I'm imagining as I build this. Now I'm going to take this. Well, I'm going to put a top on it. Let's go here. So it's going to be a pretty tall. It's easier to do it this way because I can see. I have to peek around. Oh, I felt it move. So now I got to determine where that's going to stop, which means I have to take this now to the vanishing point. Oh. Let's go to right there. And here's what I don't want to do, and I see something that could make this look weird. If this, so right now I'm lining my triangle up with the corner. I don't want this corner to line up with that, so I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna get it away from there. Because sometimes when stuff lines up like that, even in real life, like if you've ever seen pictures and you've looked at them and you go, what is going on in that picture? Like if you're drawing, you want to avoid stuff like that. There we go. Now erase that on the inside, because now that this top piece is a solid form, I would not see the horizon line through there, nor would I see the back edge of that box. And there we have it. So I'm going to darken this in a little bit just so I can see what I have. There we go. Now, maybe I make a stairway that wraps around the back edge of this building. So maybe it's a stairway type thing. So again, this is just a form that has interesting things going on. I'm not specifically trying to make it look like a building. I'm just doing my thing. So for a stairway, let's say I want to stop right here. I want this to go to this point. So this is where I want the stairs to wrap around. Okay, so I want a stairway to climb, and then I want it to be flat and then wrap around the building. I want it to like I want this to be the highest point right here. So what I have to do is I've got to take that and I have to do that. And now I'm going to take my ruler and that worked almost perfectly. So every ½ inch, I'm going to make a step. I'm going to have it evenly spaced. If you want to eyeball this, you can. So now there's that one. There's that one. Let's see. So everywhere that this diagonal line, that's where the top, so this is, the shape is going to hit here, and then the stairs are going to start right here. And the stairs are going to come down, and then they're going to come to this intersection. And they're going to come down, and they're going to come to this intersection. They're going to come down, and so that's how they're going to step down from here. So I'll take that line. Again, I'm lining this up with that. And I'm going to draw a vertical line from there, a vertical line from this intersection, a vertical line from this intersection, and then finally a vertical line from this intersection. And that's it. And then those steps now are evenly spaced. So now I've got to extend them horizontally, and then they're going to go back towards the vanishing point and then come across. So basically what I've drawn here is I've drawn where the stairs are going to connect. So all of this in here is going to be stairs, and then all the rest of that is going to be erased. So I'm going to take a vertical line. So I'm taking this vertical line here. I'm going to lock my ruler up to the edge. And I'm going to slide it down until I hit that corner. Come across. That corner. Come across. That corner. Come across. This corner. Come across. This corner. Come across. So not just the front edge of the stairs, but also the back edge of the stairs as well. And you'll see when I take this away, it'll make sense. Or hopefully it does. Right? So if I cover this up, you could see the stairs and how they ascend or descend, depending on which way you're walking. All right, so now I'm going to pick a spot, and I don't want it to be, so I've got to pick a spot where this step ends, and I don't want it to be right here because that's, again, it's going to look weird. So I'm going to extend it a little bit further. I'm going to have it go out to there. And I have to take this line, or I can take this line. I know it's a vertical line, so I can take any of the vertical lines that I have drawn. And I'll bring it out that way. So in order to, I can't just do whoop, 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 whoop. I can't just do that because this now has to be in perspective. So now I've got to take this bottom corner and send that to the vanishing point. Do that. Like that. And now that's going to be a vertical line straight down. Actually, I could probably... Nope, can't. Not going to do it. I was going to try to be lazy and freehand it, but I got the tools. I might as well do it the right way. And draw a line straight down there. And now that is going to go back to the vanishing point. Like that. And again, I'm going to take this vertical line and ship it over here like that. Now this point is going to go to that vanishing point. And now one more, and this is a vertical line right down here. And there we go. Now I can erase where all of that extra stuff, all those lines kind of extended beyond. I could erase this stuff in here, but it's a pretty chunky eraser, so I don't want to risk erasing lines that I need. So I'm just going to leave that stuff there. I could erase this stuff. So there's my stairs. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to determine, it doesn't matter where, it's got to be past like this point, because that would be flush with that. So if I want it to look like it's wrapping around, it's got to be beyond that point. And again, I'm going to do it from this side. So I'm taking this line here, lining my ruler up, and then I'm going to slide it back to right there. And then that so that's wrapping around. Now I'm going to take this. Last thing I got to do is I got to box it in right here. So I'm going to send this to the vanishing point, and I'm going to bring this vertical over to there. And there we have it. So now I've got stairs going up and kind of wrapping around. And I've got this box up here. I feel like this is kind of boring. I want to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe I'll just make it on an angle. So I'll make this top front side, maybe I'll make it higher. Or you know what? Maybe I'll make it do this. Maybe I'll make that side lower, and I'll make that higher. So this line is not going to be perspective. This is just basically turning this into a ramp. There we go. Now I need a horizontal line right across here. And a horizontal line right across here. And then, now I need to know where that back corner is now, because that is going to connect to that back corner. So what I have to do is I got to take this point and I got to send it to that vanishing point. I got to take this corner, send it back here, and wherever it intersects this line, and I'm hoping it's not right there, but it might be. But wherever it crosses that line, no, there it is, right there. Right there. Perfect. So now that point, and you can see how drawing in perspective is almost like sculpting. Like I start with a big basic form, and then I just kind of cut pieces out of it. Let's put like a doorway here. Let's put something there. And I'm going to do that. Again, I'm making sure that all my vertical lines are uniform, that they're all going according to the same that I'm borrowing from the same ones. I'm not just picking random ones. I'm trying to always take from well, let's make it like I was saying, I'm always trying to take from that original square that I drew. All right. So now to determine how tall I'm going to make this, I'm going to take that back to the vanishing point, just like that. There we go. And this is going to be a horizontal line so that it looks like it's actually going in. Like that. And I wouldn't see that one. So that's it. And I would erase, if my eraser wasn't so big, I would erase, actually, there we go. I just took my X-Acto knife. If you got an X-Acto knife, I just took my X-Acto knife and bit off a piece of that art gum eraser, so now I can go through and get some of these smaller areas so that you can see the same thing that I'm seeing. Whoops. Hopefully that's enough for you to see what it is that I see. And I don't know. What else should we do? Let's I feel like this is too plain. So let's carve a chunk out of this. Let's go, you know what, let's not make it horizontal or vertical. Let's do like an interesting, like a random kind of complex geometric shape out of this. Let's make it like this. Let's do that. And then let's do that. So these lines are parallel to each other for no other reason than because I want them to be. So I'll show you what it is I'm seeing. So like that, and then let's make it vertical, I guess. I can hear my daughter just came back from daycare. She wants to come down and visit. You can bring her down. I think she walked away. I don't think they heard me. All right, so let's take it from this edge. I'm going to take that vertical line and let's put it right here. And then this, I might see the inside of that. Yep, absolutely I'm going to, because that corner is going to go back to the vanishing point. So I can see the inside of that edge. That's kind of confusing. And I don't know. Actually, let's put a box. Just on that front corner there. So now this is going to be sticking off. It's going to extend a little bit. So that goes in, this is going to extend, and then this is going to be flat right in here. And hopefully if you don't see what I'm talking about, you will in a second. So I'm going to draw the shape. Right here. So I didn't extend this far enough. So this is not like, this is a hole inside, right? If I was a little guy walking around, I could walk underneath this and in there. This now is going to extend out like this way. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to extend that. I'll have to extend that. I'll have to extend that. I'll have to extend that. And I'll have to extend that. And I don't necessarily need it very big, just another thing on the front there to make it a little bit more interesting. We'll have it stick out about there. And now once I've put that line is going to determine the rest of that little extender piece that I'm building. Oop. Excuse me. Across. And then this so this line I want to copy and paste it right here. And again, I could probably eyeball that, but since we got the tools, we might as well make it right. Might as well do it absolutely the right way. There we go. And this is going to come down. So if this is confusing you right now, watch me build this, and then rewind it and watch me do it again and see if it makes more sense that way. So now the last thing is this corner to here. So this inside would not be visible, but I needed to put it because it tells me where the bottom piece is. All right. You know what? I don't like how close those two are, so I am going to, well, again, it's vertical. I want it to be vertical, so I might as well make it absolutely certain that it's vertical. There we go. So now it's the inking process. And for the inking process, I am going to get rid of all those little eraser bits. And I've got a lot of extra stuff in there, a lot of extra lines. I'm going to use my ruler to make sure that these are straight lines. Even though I've drawn them and I'm essentially tracing, it's still easy to get off track if you're not using a ruler. And again, the ink pen that I'm using right now, I bought at Dollar Tree. It's pretty impressive. So when you do this, actually, as I do this, rather, like I said, I haven't erased all of my construction lines. So if you're like me and you didn't erase all of your construction lines, you might want to, pay attention to what you're doing so that you don't accidentally draw a line that's not supposed. Like here, this line's going to stop right there because I added that extra little piece, and it extended. The thing too you'll notice about this stage is that I'm not using the vanishing point anymore. That is done. Like, I've done all my measurements from the vanishing point, so I don't need do this little line here first. There we go. And then now I'm going to drop that. I'm going to come across here. Oh, you can come down. I'm just doing a tutorial video, so whoever's watching this video now is gonna get a little peek into my private life. What's up, Emma? How was Miss Sandy's today, baby? Well, all right, so sorry about that. My daughter unplugged the camera, but I haven't done anything else. This is where we're at still. Just finishing inking. And this is another good example of a line that I drew initially, and you know, as I made that shape up, I didn't need that line there. And another thing that you want to be careful about doing is sliding your tools, whether it's a triangle or whether it's a ruler. You want to be careful, like once you start inking, you don't want to slide your tools around your paper too much. Because if your ink's not dry, you're going to get a big old ink smear. And that you can't erase. You know, pencil smear, that's manageable. That can be fixed. But an ink pen smear, you're out of luck. I'm going to start working my way in. Oh, weird. Oh, that's what happened. I picked up a piece of tape somewhere. I was wondering why it wasn't flush with the... like it was sticking and there was a lump in it. Like, what the heck's going on? So actually, this is kind of cool. You can see how different of an angle this line, and this line are, even though they're all headed back to that vanishing point. You can see how actually using perspective and not just kind of suggesting it. Yeah, it's much different. You know, if I use the same angle, if I just did a 45-degree angle coming back in the distance, yeah, it would look three-dimensional. But doing it this way, you get more accuracy, and you can do more if you don't have to just kind of like make it up. Like, you can actually absolutely check to see if your drawing or your idea is correct. And if you go to draw something, if you go to put an ink line down and something doesn't feel right, double check it. You know, you can fix a mistake if it's not drawn in ink yet. Once you lock it down in ink, probably goes without saying that you can't fix it. So now I'm going to give that a minute. I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to go and erase all of the construction lines. I'm going to leave that horizon line back there. So just right over top of all of my ink. And obviously my ink's not going anywhere because it's not erasable ink. But all of those pencil lines are going to be hidden, and it's going to be a clean pen and ink drawing of that form. So that's it. So you can see that this is like an inside area. This is going inside. It's kind of an optical illusion. It looks kind of weird, but this is an extra piece that's sticking out the front, and then those stairs go up and kind of wrap around the back of that form. So the next step of this process is going to be to figure out where your light is coming from. Where are your shadows and highlights going to be? So your top, whether you're stippling or whether you're cross hatching, your top areas are going to be the lightest. This area, depending on if my light is coming from here, this area is going to be dark. I'll show you with my pencil. This area is going to be dark, but it's not going to be as dark as if my light is coming from this direction. So you have to figure out where your light is coming from. Same thing with this in here. If my light is coming from this way, the light's actually going to go inside this opening. If the light is coming from this direction, this whole upper building part is going to cast a shadow across the rooftop there. And then it's going to that shadow is going to come down, and those shadows are going to kind of creep across. Actually, let's do it. So imagining that my light is coming from this direction, I'll put an arrow, a light arrow, but just an arrow to keep like to remind me where my light's coming from. So this whole building, that whole top piece, would cast a shadow right here. So all of this would be dark, but as this thing is casting the shadow, so where the shadow is closest to the object that's casting it, it's going to be darkest. So it's going to lighten up as it goes away from that. And also, it's not going to go onto this little thing right there. So it's going to cast that way, but then it's going to lighten up. It's going to be dark inside here. And these are not, like if you're stippling or cross hatching, you can draw with pencil very lightly where your shadows are going to be, but don't do what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing this so that you can see what's going to be dark and what's going to be light. So this whole side is going to be dark. This is going to be darker than this, because even though the light is coming from the opposite direction, this is still out in the open and there's like ambient light. That means light that's just kind of bouncing around all over the place from all different directions. There's ambient light that's hitting this. There's less ambient light the further inside this like walkway you go. So right here is going to be very dark, and then it's going to lighten up a little bit as it gets to the outside, as it gets towards the outer opening there. And then that shadow might kind of creep down this way a little bit. But then this whole side is going to be, this is going to be the same value as this. This is going to cast a shadow going this way. So this is still going to be, this back part of this is going to be in light because there's no, this form isn't blocking it. But that shadow on this section here is going to extend, and it's going to extend down so that this is going to be the same value as this and this, but then we might have a little bit of darkness right here towards the edge, and then it'll just kind of blend in with the rest of that. And then these will this is going to match this, and this are going to match. And then these are going to be a little bit darker. And they're a little bit darker because I've got my light coming from the top. So there is going to be some light that's kind of creeping up and over, but it's not going to be hitting this. And these are already in shadows, already in shadow. So it's going to be a little bit darker. And this, like I said, this is going to be, this is the opposite edge. So that's going to be almost as dark as it is in there. And this is going to be kind of light because it's not directly in the way of the light, but it's not really blocked by it. So I'm going to put a little bit of value there. And again, I'm going to say it again. I know I've said it a couple times since I've started shading this. If you're cross-hatching or stippling, you're not going to, it's going to take you a lot longer than it's taking me to do this. And then this is going to be also very, 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 very dark underneath there. Much darker than I'm doing right now. Like, that's not even close to being dark enough. But there you have it. This might actually be a little bit darker here. And once you've done your shading, stop, take a look at it. Does it look three-dimensional? Does it look like you want it to look? And I'll actually extend a shadow this way too. So I'm thinking about what kind of shadow this is going to make. And again, closest to the object that's casting the shadow, it's going to be the darkest. I'm going to blend that, soften those edges. And that's how you do it.